we're live. All right, everybody, welcome to this episode of The Backwoods Geek. I'm here with Adrian. Say hi, Adrian.
How's it going, guys?
He was the winner of the tournament. I believe it was Sunday, correct? The tournament?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a tournament over at the Digimon Tamer Battles Discord. I'll be linking that in the description below. By all means, join this Discord. It's a great group of guys. They run tournaments all the time. A lot of fun, a lot of prizes. So definitely give the Discord a look because we'd love to have more people joining up. Adrian was the winner of the last tournament we had. He took first place with the blue hybrid deck. I got him on. He was super willing to share the deck tech, which I'm very grateful for because blue hybrid is actually the one deck I do not own. I have 7 of them, and it is not one of them. So I could not do this deck tech without him. Adrian, if you want to just go right into it, man, you could take the floor.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll go and start with the eggs here. We play 4 Kiaru and 1 Upa. This is pretty standard. Nothing much has really changed since BT7 for the eggs. Kiaru's obviously your best way if you're playing against anything that actually puts a stack on the field. And then Upa's good follow-up whenever, you don't have sources on field or if they're just hard playing things. It's a great egg to have. They all say draw one, which is super important, so you can actually get to your pieces faster and, establish a board. Same basic premise of what, Yellow Hybrid's doing is just we do it a little bit more controlly. There was times where, because one of my matchups today, Kiara was really, really bad. So the only time it really mattered at all what my egg was whenever I had Upa on the field, but we'll get into that later.
Okay.
For the rookies, we'll just go with the blue rookies first. We'll do all the blue, and then we'll do everything else later. For the blue rookies, we play 4 BT Strabi and 4 BT6 Strabi. BT4 Strabi is really good because it's like another Boko, because it can search for a blue hybrid or a blue tamer off the top 3. So being able to grab 2 cards off of this card is really good. It also has hybrid in its trait, so relevant effects come up. BT6 Robbie. So there's a theory, right, that you can play BT7 too with the Magna build. But I personally didn't like the Magna build. I was testing it with my buddy. He actually played Blue Hybrid too, and he got second in the event.
Okay.
He was playing Magna, and he did really well with it. He said it came up a lot. But for me, this card is just amazing because it's 3K, hybrid, and as an inheritable. If you have a hybrid and you swing, it gains you a memory, which can be super relevant. Say, if you're at 3 or something and you need 2 hybrid swings per game, just going into Kuma on top of this is really good. Swinging, I can memory choke with this, just allowing me to get extra memory. So, super, super important. We really prefer to see this as our main Evo target, but once you have your pieces, either one is, so you're just constantly getting that, that cycle and that draw.
Now, to go off something you said really quick, you said your buddy was running the Magna variant and he took second. Now, what is your variant? What differentiates it?
So I don't play Magna. Mine's pretty straightforward. I don't know if he was playing a Zulong, but you'll see in mine I am as
Okay.
it comes up. The Magna build is it's more board control because you can bounce bigger things back with it, like an Imperial Dramon. It's really hard to get rid of that Pleasure on their field, but Magna can just clear it easily since you have a Beowulf in the stack, so it can just bounce 5s and everything. That's the hardest thing that this deck has a problem with is just not clearing the board, really. That's what
Okay.
Magna kind of helps with it.
We'll get to that later. I just didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're good. 4s, we play 4 Kuma, 4 Korikaku. That's pretty standard
Yeah.
for a hybrid deck. You just want to see bodies. Not playing Lobo, didn't feel like I ever needed it, because these were always in the hand whenever I needed them. Only 5 we play is for Beowulf. This card is amazing because it literally turns all your 4s into 2 or 3 attacks. So if my opponent has a board, and I have multiple Beowulfs in hand, I can turn this 1 level 4 into 3 or 4 attacks,
Wow.
which is absolutely insane. If you have the memory, which most times you will, late game you're always getting set to 6 plus memory. So like you can just go and do this combo like twice, so you're getting two extra free attacks just for no reason.
So what exactly is his ability that allows that to happen?
So when attacking, if you can bounce a level 4 or lower hybrid from your stack back to the hand to bounce a level 4 or lower that's on their field back to their hand. So as long as they have a Digi on field, you can just keep using the effective bounce.
Okay.
So that is the important part, is just being able to bounce these Korikakis back to your hands, or the Kumas back to your hands. So you're never you're never missing a level 4 to go for a game. That's the biggest thing. Is Beowulf just secures games, because
Yeah.
there was a game where I needed two hybrids to win, and I drew Beowulf, and that just secured the win. So,
So as long as you have the memory and the tamers, you could essentially just keep bouncing them, playing them, bouncing them, playing them, and attacking.
oh yeah, absolutely, and that's the entire reason why this card is so good,
Yeah.
and it's such an essential thing. If you don't see this, you might be in trouble in the grind. So, the only six we play is one Zulong. I only dropped this once during the tournament, and it was against security control, and I was swinging for five checks.
Phew.
So it's literally only there to equalize security or to push for game whenever they're not expecting it.
Okay.
Like it's one of those things where if they have multiple, because you're stripping sources and you're trying to keep stuff on board, so your tamers gain you more memory. So this card just comes down. If when you digivolve, it costs five to digivolve, but when you digivolve, it strips the bottom source of everything, and then for every one of your opponent's Digimon that doesn't have sources, you gain a memory. So this thing came down for one memory on
Wow.
that point in time, and then it gets a security attack for every Digimon that doesn't have a source.
Okay.
So comes in super clutch and stuff like the yellow hybrid match. Plus it's 13, so it just kills a lot of the big stuff that's in this format right now for some weird reason. Like fighter mode, it just dies.
That's awesome.
So kind of important there. Boko, four copies of Boko. So I didn't see him that much today, even though I'm playing four. I didn't see him. Whenever you see him early game, he's amazing. And if he just stays on the field, it's so good. He just gains so much value. It makes all your hybrid evolutions free. The first one you do is free. If you have multiple on them, you go into a hybrid evolution and you're gaining two memory for just evolving. So, very dangerous card if it stays on the field. And most times, like in the yellow hybrid matchup, I didn't have the opportunity to play any this weekend, but I was in testing. If you put this on the board, they have to answer it. If they do not answer it, they're more than likely losing the game.
No, I wasn't able to
So,
play. I wasn't able to play in the tournament on Sunday, unfortunately, but my brother did. But he's relatively new to the game. He actually saw his first blue hybrid deck in that tournament. I don't think it was you, but it was somebody else, and they dropped a Pokemon versus him, but he didn't know really what Pokemon did. So he left it on the board for a few turns, and I think it made his opponent like six memory. After the game, I told him, like, yeah, man, that Pokemon's got to go. When you see that thing come down,
that
it's
that
got to
might
go.
have actually, if he was playing Imperial, that was probably me.
Then it was you. I was like, man, that
Yeah.
Poko's got to go, dude. You got to remember that next time.
Yeah, because he went into a pallet and spun back my Kumamon and just left this on the field. I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I just gained free memory then. Let's go. Um, that's it for the Digis. For the Tamers, we played four Tommy. We'll do this one for you. Four two drop Davis, four Soren, or sorry, two drop Mats, four Soren Joes, and three Davis. Um, I never missed the fourth Davis. This was perfect all the day. The only reason why you care about this is one, it searches for a Zulong. The only card that can search for a Zulong in this deck is this and one other card we play. And it's a memory setter. So, I mean, whenever I was playing BT7, I was trying out just the memory setting mat, the blue mat, and it's okay. Like the deck still runs fine, but just that search of being able to grab any blue digi is so valuable
Yeah.
in the memory set. And if you see two of these on your board, like if it comes out of security and you already have one on field, like it's just a free bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, I didn't see it a lot in the game, in the matches and everything. It only really came up against my round one. and that's the only time it ever mattered. It did get checked out of security twice though, and that was pretty broken. Um, Sword and Joe and the mat are the two most essential pieces to this deck because with these and a Davis, you're always getting set to like six memory, and it's insane. There was times where I'd be at six memory. I do Beowulf plays. I'd go to three. I end my turn by going Mat and then playing a Sword Joe because I evolved over a Tamer, or
Yeah.
I evolved over two Tamers. So in essence, I just gain more value by evolving over them, and I can just get them back because like you're drawing through your deck so much, you're gonna see them. So
Now,
and you're playing so many, so you should end up seeing them.
Soren Joe, that's the one that strips sources, correct?
Absolutely, yeah, and that's another big thing is this thing can strip sources as well, so it triggers like your Kiarus and everything, and it makes it to where it can fix states like say your opponent has one source and you have a Corey Cockman in hand, you just swing with like your Strawby, strip the source, and then go into your Corey Cockman to stun it. So I mean, it makes it to where you can just stun everything.
Yeah.
So so powerful. For the option cards, we play three Howling Memory boosts. This card says strip sources and stun. We play three Hammer Spark because you're a blue deck and you need to see it, and this coming out of security is just amazing.
Yep.
And then we play one regular memory boost. So this memory boost is the only other card in the deck that can search for a Zulong, and it is just a way to dig through your deck, find what the piece that you're missing, because most of the times you're missing one, maybe two pieces at most. If not, like you're always seeing everything you need. This is the only way to get to a Zulong, so that's why we play it. And the extra two memory is really good if it comes out of security, or if you just need that extra two memory to go for game. That's why it's there. Hammer Spark is kind of self-explainable. It's Hammer Spark. It gains you a memory.
Yep.
And then Howling, stripping the sources, like I said, and stunning is so powerful. And there was times where I could go, I can go Kuma, evolve, and then play this the past turn and stun whatever it was. If it was like a level 5, I could strip three sources and pass turn. So it's just super, super important. We play the one Ice Wall because we are a blue deck and we can only play one. Card is amazing, wins games. And then the newest addition to the deck is we play two copies of Innocence Blizzard from BT8. This card single-handedly won probably 4 out of my 6 games I actually won. Because this card does the same thing as a Zulong, where it strips the bottom source of all their digis, and then it stuns up to 3 that do not have sources.
Wow.
And its security effect activates its main effect, which is insane coming out of security. It's almost like that yellow 2-drop option that a lot of yellow hybrids are playing right now. I forgot what it's called. I think it's Holy Flame or something
Holy
like that.
Flame, yep.
And it's so good because it almost stops turns completely. Also stripping stuff against the Armor Rush deck, in theory, like if they swing into this, they strip their armor release. So now now they can't just armor texture because they don't have a source underneath it anymore. There's so many applications to this card, and it's such a needed card for this deck to stay competitive.
What's interesting about this deck is it almost seems like it's equal parts control and aggressive, because it seems like you could be very aggressive, and at the same time you've got these landmines sitting in your security half the time that are just ending people's turns or doing real nasty effects they don't want to happen. So you've got a lot of control going on, and you can just turn on the heat like at the drop of a hat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like this card getting checked out of security, it happened once. It was actually against my last round against security control. He checked in security while he had 4 attacks, and I stunned the rest of his board, and so he just had to play something to pass turn.
Jeez.
And I proceeded to win the next turn.
So now that we're through the deck, speaking of your matchups, what were your exact matchups?
So round 1 was against Blackboard Greymon. It was a pretty quick 2-0 because he never saw a Memory Tamer, and I know how to beat Blackboard Greymon with any deck simply because if you Memory choke them, they can only do one action a turn.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest downside to that deck is if they don't get their memory set to 3, they literally cannot play. So I was just sitting there dropping these 2-drop mats when I was at 1, putting them to 1. They have no Kia, but all their evos are so big because most of their high end evolutions are 4s.
Hmm.
So even if you put them, even if they know Kia twice or a 4 evo at 1, they're still passing turn.
Yeah.
And most times we have Davis set and we're going off.
Now,
Um,
with Blackboard Greymon, do you ever find you run into some issues with your lower cost tamers? Do they ever feel like a hindrance or?
um, Not really, because you play so many.
Yeah.
They have to choose, right? Like the biggest one that they worry about is the memory setter and the Tommy. They really don't pay any mind to the Sora and Joe and the Matt, which are the two most important ones. Weirdly enough, they just ignore these two. The guy I had Davis, Tommy, and 2 mats on the board, and he just popped the 2 mats for some weird reason. He didn't, pop Davis, pop Matt. He just popped the 2 mats because he feared this card at the end of it, at the end of our game too, because he realized that this one card was gaining me like an extra 10 memory throughout the game, and he didn't realize until it was already too late because I had
Yeah.
pressure on already, and he just couldn't out it.
Okay. So you 2-0'd Blackboard Greymon. What was round two?
Round 2 was Imperial. I feel kind of bad because he kind of bricked hard game 1. He didn't see a rookie, and we just had the best setup possible. We were able to get memory setters set, tamers, and then we proceeded to quickly push through. He at one point in time he had the hard drop Magna and to try to stop, and we just drew into Beowulf. So Beowulf bounced it back to his hand on attack. So it's almost like it doesn't matter. And that's another thing with like the armor rush matchup is like you can just bounce their armors back to their hand with Beowulf, and you just do not care about them.
Yeah.
So
So
like it was good. Like he swung in with Pallid though into the security, and he actually hit a Tommy out. The same thing happened with the Black War Greymon. He swung in with something, hit Tommy. I was able to strip all their sources, so they lose stuff like blocker and Imperial in particular. They lose jamming and the draws, which is super important, so they can't cycle.
okay, yeah, I do. I think I was watching that match then because I do remember when the Tommy came down and stripped his XVmon out from underneath the Paildramon. So yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I told him all the first thing I did because that was my brother you were playing. The first thing I did, I was like, man, your hand must have been awful after I'd watched the game because I saw him not play any rookies, and I'm like, besides it being awful, he just had a Bokomon on field going wild, and you stood no chance,
yeah,
dude. No chance.
yeah.
But yeah, it just ran right over him. And then I don't remember game two being any better, but at least he didn't break as bad.
No, he was actually able to go into Pallid and everything, but he ended up hitting like a Hammer Spark in security, and so it made his dragon play really bad.
Yeah,
And he knew if he did dragon at all, he would just end up passing me with way too much memory
yeah,
because he would leave stuff without sources, and I would just profit off of it. And that's the weird thing against this matchup with Imperial is if you go into your dragon play, if they have a Sora and Joe or a Matt on their board, like you're passing way too much memory.
So you 2-0'd that matchup. Now round three.
So round 3, we played against Security Control. We the only game we dropped the entire tournament was that game 1 because I did not see tamers. I just saw bodies, and I didn't see enough tamers to facilitate the bodies. So he got that game pretty quickly because I just had nothing to do. Game 2, I saw all of my strawberries in that game, so I just pretty much rookie rushed him. He couldn't do anything. He had nothing in security. He kept magnating, but every time he dropped a magna, I gained extra memory because I had Sorajo. So I went to like 10 memory at one point, and you just can't give Blue Hybrid that much memory. It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
Game 3 was a bit of a grind. That's the only time I dropped a Zulong all day because he had at one point in time two Magnas, an Avenged Kidmon, and a Patamon, the promo Patamon. And I just kept stunning them. I had to do something, as if not, he was just going to kill me. I ended up just dropping this for one memory. I drew into it off of Evos. I'm like, I haven't seen it. I've been through half my deck searching already. I know it's coming, so I just kept trusting and it came. Dropped it, swung for five security checks. It only got through two before it got chaos degraded and got put in my security. So in the long run, like it helped me more because it put me to two security, and he just couldn't get around this.
Yeah. So you took that 2-1, and obviously you ended up taking the tournament. Now I know you won this whole event with this deck, but is there anything like you feel you would change after playing through an event?
The only thing I can really feel like could possibly change in this deck is playing a Madoki Betamon, just a memory denier. But in theory, right, like this card does the same thing. It just does it in the reverse way. So it puts pressure, which is so much more important than like the yellow hybrid matchup. So it makes them have to push up their Rapidmon or in their Patamon for only this one card. If they don't, then we're gaining so much memory. And once they push up the Rapid, it just makes it to where we can go into our hybrid plays, do our hybrid stuff, and then play another one of these down the next turn and make them have to do the process all over again. So instead of going into their recovery line, they have to go into the kill line because if they don't, then they die to this.
Okay.
It's so good in theory. Uh, I didn't miss Madoki. There was times where it came up that it could have mattered, but most times it didn't. But if I did, I'd cut two of these Bokos, cut this down to two, play one Madoki, and then I'd play another Innocence Blizzard. That card is just so cracked.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, you ran pretty well through the event, so I got to say the deck was very effective. You said your buddy placed second, and his was slightly different, but was his experience about the same? Did you guys talk that over after it?
Yeah, so we were testing the night before, and I didn't know what I was going to play. I was testing Imperial. I was testing Three Musket because those are my two go tos I have built. I'm just like, these decks, I like. If I play Three Musket, I never have anything in my security for Imperial, so I'm just going to lose to Imperial 100% of the time. My Yellow Hybrid matchup's okay, but for with that deck, and that's what I was really worried about was Yellow Hybrid. And I'm like, well, Beelstar can't do as much against the Yellow Hybrid deck uh, and it loses to stuff like Imperial. Imperial loses to Yellow Hybrid pretty hard, and security control because if it checks a bomb, then I just lose. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, I'm like, why don't I just play Blue Hybrid? Like Blue Hybrid was the answer to Yellow in the BT7 meta, so might as well try it. Built
Yeah.
it, tested it with my buddy, which he was going to play Yellow Hybrid, but once he saw what this deck could do, he switched to Blue Hybrid as well. So that
Yeah.
we were the only two Blue Hybrids in the field, and we ended up going 1-2.
Hey, tried and true. I mean, there's. Oh, what was that?
Absolutely.
Oh, so are you building Blue Hybrid EX2 format with Leomon?
Oh yeah. Are you planning on making any changes come EX2?
Yeah, like that Leomon, it's a blocker that I believe on deletion it gains you two memory. Like it's interesting. Yeah, and draws a card.
Yeah.
The Tamer is just a 3 cost.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really looked into it. I'm really just focusing on like the BT8 meta right now.
Yeah.
Because when EX2 rolls around, I'm probably going to end up playing Mother D Reaper because D Reapers are just so good.
The only reason I asked is because it's Friday. So.
Now,
Gotcha. Yeah.
what matchups? And I'm assuming you've played this deck before. What matchups would you say would be your worst, and what do you think are just auto wins for this deck?
So Armor Rush is a pretty auto win. I feel Black War Greymon, if you know what you're doing and they don't see a memory tamer, that's a pretty auto win. This deck just has really good matchups against a lot of the format. The only thing I'm really scared of with this deck would probably be like the red hybrid deck. And that's only if like I don't have a Tommy or something in security because they're swinging for 6-7 checks. They're building a stack that's 8 high, and it's so hard to clear that off that stack from them, and they're not hard playing anything.
Yeah. Well, you did great, man. I saw a lot of the games. I watched all the top tables, so I mean, it was awesome watching this deck in action. And I really appreciate you coming out and doing this little deck tech for me, because like I said, I was never able to build blue hybrid, so it's the one deck I can't throw up on my YouTube channel. So I really appreciate you coming on and explaining this out for me.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, like I said, I was testing with the Magna build before. Decided just to go with the Azulon build. I feel like it was just 100% better, and I was right with that call. Because a lot of the high tables, once we got there, it was just yellow hybrid and security control. So those were the two big things that mattered.
Yeah.
So being able to clear security was way more important than being able to clear a board.
Well, you did awesome, man. Congratulations again, and thank you for coming on. Again, guys, if you look at the description on the video, I'll be linking the Discord link. By all means, come on down, Digimon Tamer Battles Discord. They run events all the time. You can play against myself, you can play against Adrian, and his blue hybrid, probably get beat by it. But hey, it's a good time, plenty of prizes up for grabs, and love to have you. So again, this has been the Backwoods Geek. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you, Adrian, for coming on.
And thank you, sir.